Hello everybody and welcome back to Perfect English with me, Alex. This video is the third video in a little mini series I have done all about regular verbs. So if you haven't seen the first two videos, I recommend you go and watch them and then come back to this one because hopefully it should all piece together if you watch them in order. This video is going to focus on verbs that end in E. So the two examples I'm going to use for this video are exercise and dance. Like with the examples from the first two videos, there are some slight tweaks and changes we need to make when using these verbs, but not that much. It's just going to follow the same kind of structure, but pay attention to the little differences that will separate you from the rest of the non-native speakers. So we have the two infinitive forms. We have exercise and dance. Remember that infinitive form is used when we are talking about I, you, they, we, or when we combined it with another verb. So a couple of examples of the infinitive. I exercise every Wednesday. I dance every weekend. Very straightforward. Once you know the infinitive, you can then apply it to all the other forms. So let's take a look at those. Next, let's take a look at the third person form. Remember, the third person is used with he, she, it, somebody's name, whenever we are talking in the third person. So how do we change these verbs when talking in the third person? Simple. Just add an S to the end, like with the examples from the first two videos. So exercise becomes exercises. Dance becomes dances. Let's take a look at some examples. She dances every week. He exercises every day. Very, very small difference. You may not even notice it, but native speakers do notice this. So if you want to sound more fluent, this is a great thing to practice. Just adding the S to the end of the word when we are talking about he, she, or it. How about moving the infinitive form to the past tense? Remember, we use the past tense to talk about something that has already happened. It's finished. Now with the previous two videos, we added ed, but these verbs already end in E. So all we need to do is add D. So exercise becomes exercised. Dance becomes danced. Very, very straightforward. And when you are spelling this word, remember, we don't add ed, just D to verbs that end in E. So again, let's take a look at some examples. So, I danced last night. Last night is already finished. It's in the past. I danced last night. I exercised last week. Very, very straightforward. Just add a D to the infinitive form when we want to change it to the past participle. And finally, we have the present participle. This is used for something that is happening at the time we are talking. So right now, or at the time we are referring to. So with these verbs that end in E, it's very straightforward, but it does get a little bit confusing at first. We drop the E, we get rid of the E and replace it with ing. So dance, D-A-N-C-E, becomes dancing, D-A-N-C-I-N-G. Very straightforward, dancing. And what about exercise? The same thing, E-X-E-R-C-I-S-I-N-G, exercising. We get rid of the E and replace it with I-N-G. So let's take a look at some examples of when we will use that ing ending. I am exercising. She is dancing. He is exercising. Very, very common, this ing ending. If you can understand how and when to use it, you will separate yourself from the majority of people who are learning English, the majority of non-native speakers. It's a very, very good thing to understand and use in conversation. That concludes the verbs ending in E. Like with my other videos, I will put some examples in the description for you to practice. But that is it for this video. Please follow me on Instagram at Perfect English Alex. Please subscribe to my channel. I have 2 more videos in this series coming, so I look forward to seeing you in them. Thank you so much. Goodbye.